Hey, you wonderful, wonderful people who matter so very, very much. I'm Will Help, and this can help. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about grokking. Now, grokking originated in the book Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert Heinlein. Seems we've heard of that one before. Now, in that book, there's a character who's raised apart from Earth. He's actually raised on Mars by Martians. It's actually kind of cool how it happens, but we won't go into it. Point being that this character is raised by creatures that essentially when they die, they don't really die. They stick around. I mean, they shed their physical form, but they're still there. You can see them, you can talk to them. They can interact with the physical world, which means they know there's an afterlife. There's no fear of death. You can start a project and finish it after death, which is why so many of them have a tendency to start a project and only complete and perfect the first couple of measures of the song or complete one part of the painting. They have all the time in the world. So one of the byproducts of this kind of society is that they take the time to understand something thoroughly. And by that, I mean they try to gather as many viewpoints on something to see it from as many angles as, I almost said humanly possible, for Martians. They're doing as much as they can to understand the true nature of things. They understand that each person has their own viewpoint of something, and that person can only ever be that person. Now, that person can expand their viewpoint, of course, by learning other people's viewpoints, by valuing other people's viewpoints. So when it comes to viewpoints, each person gets their own facet. They get one way of seeing the truth. And everybody gets their own unique facet because every person is unique. They have individual experiences that lead them to believe the way they believe, which govern decisions which lead to different experiences and believing what they believe. It goes on, and it becomes wholly unique. As you've already figured out, every single person on this planet is an amalgam, a conglomeration, a melting pot of every single decision made by every single person that has lived on this planet. It's a pretty big hodgepodge of an existence. And because they see the world differently than you or I do, they have their own facet. Imagine truth being something at the center of a crystal. And you know how a crystal has facets, flat sides. So each person's able to view whatever's inside the crystal by way of one facet. You can't really look at someone else's facet. You can hear them describe it, you can modify your understanding of it, but you only get your own facet. And the Martians basically spend their time learning the facets, learning as many as they can so they can get as close to a true understanding of the true nature of whatever it is. So why am I talking about grokking? So I say this in two parts. Obviously, part of it is I want you to spend a little time trying to grok this show and what we talk about. But I also want you to keep that in mind when you're dealing with other people. I don't know about you, but my life and my decisions are usually based out of things I thought were a good idea at the time. Thank God a lot more of them these days I still think were a good idea. But you know, I had very real and important reasons that I felt the way that I did at the time that led me to make the decisions that I made. And I'm hoping that you will keep in mind in the future that everyone around you is the same way. You know, even if you don't understand why it is they chose to do the thing they chose to do, they're operating from their facet, one you don't have. So instead of berating them for it, maybe ask them about it. They'll walk away with somebody with a better understanding of what they understand, and you walk away with their understanding to an extent. And if you don't understand their viewpoint, keep asking why. Why do you believe this? Well, okay, but how did you come to that conclusion? Either they're gonna punch you in the mouth. I don't recommend this method in a bar. Or, you know, they might play along. And most importantly, you learn a respect for people's opinions that are considered to be precious and unique by, well, God. All right, and that is the episode for today. So, until next time, I'm Will Help. This could help, and the next episode is it's probably the most important episode. It's definitely covering the topic that sucked all the lung out of my breath when I first came across it. But don't worry, I'll make it quick.